What's going on? Welcome to Truth Wizard, or welcome back to Truth Wizard. Either way, always good to have you. Thank you for joining. It's good to be here. Today's video, we are going to take a look at allegedly some aliens at the State of the Union address. Somehow I managed to miss this. Also, we're taking another look at the orphan train situation, haunted dolls, some other just weird, creepy videos I managed to drum up here. So stay tuned. Should be a good one. Before we get into it, do me a favor, hit the like button. More importantly, hit the subscribe button if you are into weird, strange things, conspiracies, UFOs, ghosts, creatures, whatever, man. That's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. We're taking a look. We're discussing, maybe debunking. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Please come back and join me. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into it.
It's important narratives to this point, to our research. In my opinion, we have the Pontifical College, Josephinum, where Joseph comes over to the USA from Germany in 1867. 3 years later, he becomes a priest and has his own church within a few months. And he gets to buy the house next door, of course, to support 12 orphans. And do we all know about the orphans at this point? Possibly a repopulation tactic that was going on in the 1800s. It's very interesting. Was it only 12 orphans? Or was this one of the places that they would send the orphans through to get them into society? Because who would ever question Joseph the priest from the 1800s? You know, the guy that just randomly shows up from Germany, has all the money ready to buy houses somehow to support orphans. It all checks out, of course. Simple stuff for Joseph. This was known as the St. Joseph Orphan Asylum. It grew so rapidly for some weird and, of course, very random reason that 5 years after it began, Joseph moved the operation closer to the railroad, which is how these individuals would be dispersed throughout the country. So this is a paragraph of admission. We are being told, down to the smallest detail, how this operation worked. It would go through churches. They would bring a manager type over from Europe, call them a priest, give them a house, give them the resources to run these operations, purchasing new buildings with ease to run the program. So not only do you have the World's Fairs that were a repopulation tactic, you had these orphan trains and orphan hubs where they would be dropped off and planted into society. The new facility that Joseph was just finding and saying was his. I want to make that clear. He wasn't building anything. He was given these buildings that were already there from the previous civilization. So the new building gave the orphans a training in the trades. So this Joseph guy was obviously sent with a purpose to repopulate and teach to a brand new society, one that didn't have any skills. This right here is how you reset a society's technology level. The teacher is never in charge of what the students learn. This Joseph character is a teacher of a class. He is not the principal of the school. There are many schools. He is clearly taking direction as to what the students of the new society will learn. There were many classes like this one all over the country happening simultaneously. This was an operation. This went on for 12 years with zero backstory. Finds the Collegium, Josephinum, this massive college, is just found and ready to roll. No clue where the
Who would have built this? Who would have built this building in this time? That to me, surely you are familiar with the whole Tartaria thing, right? I would imagine you are. At this point, many people are. And so that does seem to make the most sense. And even there being, whether it's Tartaria, Tartarians, or, I don't know who it was, but it just seems so unlikely that they were able to construct buildings of this magnitude in the mid to late 1800s, given the limited resources, technology, things like that at that time.
money came from. No mention of how many men were needed to build this place.
Of course
just
not.
found it. And its first class of 23 men began. It's unbelievable. This is one of the most important stories to our research, in my opinion, because it shows exactly how the operation took place. It's actually laying it all out there and shows us exactly how they repopulated these regions in the USA. It shows us the operation with the orphans, the teaching programs. And this was our base for our technological knowledge. Whoever controlled this operation from the top has all of the technology from the previous civilization and is controlling what technology we get to have. And they've clearly been doing this for a very long time. And for anyone that's on the fence, we have the St. Vincent's Infant Asylum located in Baltimore, where we have tunnels under the ground. This infant asylum was in use in the mid-1800s during the same time period as German transfer Joseph. And what do you know? In the early 1900s, the operation was done and they declined new orphans. 1941, they changed this to apartments. And in 2015, they light it up and try to destroy it with a fire, but they fail. So 3 years later, what do you think happens? 2018, the building was illegally demolished without a permit. You literally can't make this stuff up. It gets more and more obvious if you're still on the fence. Let's go even deeper. We have the St. Mary's Orphan Asylum, located in Galveston, Texas, where they tell us that this one is haunted. Now, I've talked about hauntings before briefly. I'm not going to say that there aren't any hauntings, but when it comes to these old world buildings, I think it was a tactic to keep people away from them. Just say that they're haunted, and it scares everyone away from investigating.
I've said this a million times over. I do not believe that all these hauntings and ghosts are what it's not what we've been told. It's not accurate. And what he just said, he's talking about the buildings to keep them away. I think we've been told that in terms of Ouija boards, communicating with entities, things like that. I believe we've been told not to do those things because it's demonic and it's all evil. Again, like how is any entity just pure evil? We're told about angels, guardian angels, someone looking after you, but where are they? Because everything that someone encounters, it's evil. I don't think there's any video on the damn internet that exists of an ordinary person claiming to have contacted or filmed themselves contacting, if it's all authentic, a entity or some kind of spirit where not one person has said, "Oh my God, was that your guardian angel?" Why do we hear about things like that in religion, and we're taught about these angels watching over us? But then if you actually try to make contact to one of these angels, you'll fail. They're all evil. I agree with this guy, though. Something's not right with this. And whether they use that haunting tactic to keep people away from certain buildings, to not discover certain things, or whether they've used it to keep you from looking into other realms, different dimensions that intertwine with ours, that we can at some point communicate with some type of other spirit or entity and maybe learn at that point and gain information that they don't want you to have. That's what I think. I think they totally use this shit against us. And I think people have totally fallen for it all day.
So we have yet again another orphan operation going on in the mid-1800s. And I'm just going to let you know that this is going on and on and on. There were so many orphan operations going on in the mid-1800s because this was how they were repopulating these cities. So where were all these kids' parents? Is this where a lot of our families originated from? Is this why the family trees in the USA almost all end around the same time period? We are told hundreds of fire stories through the first 52 episodes. We know that that is the key and the nod, that it's a building that was constructed by the previous civilization. The St. Mary's Orphan Asylum. For anyone wondering where the parents of these orphans were, you might want to check the other asylum, the insane asylum, because they were not going along with the reset. Here's a graph showing that the insane asylums are disappearing over time. And I wonder why. Good thing they cared so much about us in 1955 and 1965. Because surely that was the fix. Oh, it wasn't? And then a fire had devastated the St. Mary's Orphan Asylum in 1875. If anyone is still on the fence, there is room over here to get off the fence. And honestly, who would want to sit on top of a fence anyway? So we have Ohio, Baltimore, Texas, We have all these towns and cities being repopulated. Brand new people, brand new social structures, brand new mindsets, and resetting what people are taught. This all happened around 150 years ago. So this is all very new. This isn't thousands of years ago. Then we have another very interesting aspect of this in Germany during this same exact time period. And remember, we also have good old Joseph from earlier, also from Germany. So here we are given the Kinder Beware install. And if I pronounce that wrong, I hope you all understand. This is where we are given kindergarten, another tactic to teach children the brand new social structures. What better way to trick people? Take them out of their family's home and
Hold on. So 1830s, 1840s, he developed his vision for kindergarten based on the ideas of the French philosopher Jacques, however you say that, Rousseau, and the later Swiss educator Johann Heinrich. What was that? Pestalozzi? Did I say that correctly too? I hope, maybe. Anyway, these progressive education reformers introduced the concept that children were naturally good and active learners. Okay. At the time, this thinking was quite radical. The common belief until then had been that children were little creatures who needed stern handling to become good adults. Play was seen as a waste of time and proof that children should be tamed so they could be more productive. What the actual...
tell them what to think and then test them on it. Failing the test will then lower your self-esteem, putting a social pressure on children to agree with this new way of thought, or they will be called dumb and get an F. This is an operation. It's all connected, and it's designed to enslave the world's population. Year after year, we are all taught a false narrative. We've all been brainwashed into thinking that you are either smart or dumb based on a curriculum that holds zero value in the real world. Now, who knows if this...
Quickly, I'm sorry. I have been saying that as well for a long time. I really do not believe that just because you excel in obviously high school, particularly college, because you can be told something or read something in a book and then perhaps retain that information and just spit it back out and do well on a test. That doesn't, for me, I don't find that very satisfactory in terms of, saying someone is smart, right? Because you could give that same person, just ask them, talk to them, have these conversations, and can they think outside the box? And the thing is, I think that we are missing here are people that are creative. Are you creative? To me, creative people are genuinely, truly more intelligent. You are using your brain in different ways than most to come up with an idea, right? Or a product or whatever it might be. And in this case, us looking into things, we're shooting the bull here. We're coming up with theories and ideas. I think the reason why most people don't believe this stuff is because they can't follow and comprehend what you're saying. They can't imagine certain processes. They can't imagine scenarios. They can't imagine landscapes. You tell them something, give them an example. They can't picture it. They can't picture it in detail. Does that make sense? I believe it does. I believe I'm saying that properly. But let me know. Comment. Let me know. Do you feel the same way? I think intelligence is 100% based on all the wrong metrics. And it's for sure, I agree with that it is by design that way.
Frederick Froebel was even a real character, but they do admit that kindergarten starts in Germany around the exact same time period that we're talking about, the mid-1800s. So I wanted to tie it all in with the rest of the world. This is a worldwide operation. This is not just the USA. We have a lot of things in the USA being controlled through Germany during this time period, especially the education aspect of it. And I want to point out that yes, we have borders and division now. We have so many countries in the world, and everyone is separated. And you're unable to travel to other lands unless you have a piece of paper that is registered and checked at the checkpoints. But who's to say that there even was a border in the previous civilization? Were there so-called elected leaders controlling everyone, deciding what we can and cannot do? Could they have had a truly free life where they were able to travel wherever they want freely and not feel like they're invading someone else's territory? I would say, in my opinion, this was the world that was here before the reset. And something happened where this past civilization was wiped out and their technology was stolen by a group. And some of it, it's important narratives to this point.
That is it's a pretty interesting take. I'm into that. I might have to try to find a few more of these videos that are in this realm. Man, the whole thing with the kids too. It makes me wonder, maybe you too, I hope. Like there's something with the kids. I feel like these people know something. So I believe that as a kid, you are definitely more in touch with a other realms, plural or just singular. I'm not sure, but I think kids are more sensitive to things, to seeing again spirits, entities, being in a contact or being susceptible to even just getting glimpses into other realms. I feel like someone knows that, because why else? Like everything is kid based. Look at this. We're talking about the 1800s, man. And yet we have another, I wouldn't call this a controversy. I mean, for some of us, maybe this would be a controversy. Most people would never question this, but this is something that's just suspicious involving children, right? I mean, are we not kind of in the middle of a whole situation with all these files and the elite going back to children, allegedly, right? So I don't know what it is with kids. I think the same about like tragedies. When you look at like a train derailment or anything that's very unfortunate, a plane crash, you can have 200 people dead, and yet they make it a point to say 200 died, 20 of which were children. Like, does anybody else find that weird? I've thought that's been weird now for several years. It kind of dawned on me. Once you start seeing politicians, again, on the campaign trail or just little snippets, they always mention the children, the children. Everything is the children to get people all riled up and get them all, oh my God, the children. It's like they're using kids as a prop. And some of that, I understand why. It's emotional. People protect the children. They are innocent. They need to be looked after, duh. So I get how the politicians use them as an emotional just distraction and tactic to win over people, but in terms of like tragedies that occur, why is it they can tell you X amount of people have, perished, and they make it a point to let you know and have an extra sad sidebar of, oh, but 30 of them were kids, 8 of them were children. I think it's kind of sad that anyone might have been killed in anything, right? Any kind of accident, hurricane, tornadoes, earthquake, whatever. Like it's not good. Like those are all people. They were all brothers, sisters, boyfriends, husbands, wives, girlfriends, moms, dads, whatever. Like why the extra little nudge for the children? Like this is bad. 180 people dead, but 15 of them were children. Doesn't change the body count. So why add that in there? Am I missing something to that? As always, if I am, if you have your own theory about any of this, please let me know or put a link to another video in the comments, please and thank you.
Between 1854 and 1929, over 250,000 orphan children were loaded onto trains and shipped west. They called it the orphan train movement. The official story? Finding them loving homes. But here's what really happened. These children were placed on platforms in small towns, lined up, inspected like livestock, Farmers and factory owners picked the ones they wanted, not for family, for labor. The timing, right after the asylum purge, right when the West needed workers to build the new infrastructure, roads, railways, farms, all the expansion happening during the alleged reset period. And these children, they had no memory of the old world, no parents to tell them what came before. Perfect for the new narrative. But not all of them adjusted. The ones who resisted, the ones who didn't fit the system, they were sent to reformatories. And those weren't schools. They were control facilities, harsh discipline, isolation, breaking the ones who wouldn't comply. This wasn't charity. It was population replacement, social engineering on a massive scale. They erased the adults who remembered, then they redistributed the children who didn't.
Interesting. The reformatories there being brought up. That is another thing to add to the plate now. Never thought about it that way. I should have. Seems kind of obvious, but I did not. Yeah, I am convinced, like, there is something to this. It's not just what we've been told. It seems, well, it just seems improbable. My opinion.
This video shows a girl with a doll in the background. Her doll suddenly stood up on its own. Her reaction, completely justified.
Oh. We're watching that again.
Video shows a girl with a doll in the background. Her doll suddenly stood up on its own. Her reaction, completely justified.
This woman was pure evil, yet people kept saying she was beautiful. In 1973, in a quiet
What? This is so ridiculous. Who does this? Honestly, you gotta love them for it, man. Because you know, when they wrote this narration, they knew what they were saying. We're going to start this over again. I want to hear this one more time.
This woman was pure evil, yet people kept saying she was beautiful.
Oh my God. I mean, I need a bigger monitor because there's so much beauty flowing through this one. I can't even handle it. I need at least two more.
Was beautiful. In 1973, in a quiet town outside Jackson, Mississippi, a wealthy woman named Bella Quinn
Well, there's the problem.
owned one of the largest houses in the area. Bella was known for her money, her charm, and her enormous garden statue collection. Her property was filled with them. Stone angels, Roman soldiers, marble animals, dozens of statues lined the long paths around her house. Bella often welcomed wealthy men who passed through town. Some came hoping to marry her. Others were simply curious about the mysterious woman who lived alone in such a large estate. Many of them stayed for a few days, but strangely, some of those men were never seen again. At first, the disappearances didn't raise suspicion. Most of the men were travelers. However, in 1976, one visitor managed to escape after Bella tried to attack him during the night. He ran down the road and called the police from a gas station. When officers arrived, Bella calmly insisted the man was lying, but investigators searched the property anyway. While walking through the garden, one officer noticed something unusual. One of the statues looked recently poured. When they tried to move it, they realized something disturbing. It was far heavier than solid stone should be. Workers broke open the base. Inside was the body of a missing man. Police began opening other statues around the garden. By the end of the search, investigators had found 7 bodies hidden inside Bella Crown's statues. The garden had never been decoration. It had been her cemetery. This woman was pure evil, yet people kept saying,
I mean, yeah, absolutely beautiful. I wish I was alive back then. I would have rushed to the house, ran, not walked, right into her arms.
Every year on March 17th, people celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And you've probably heard the legend that St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland. But here's the interesting part. Ireland never had snakes. I'm the Gentleman Occultist, and let's talk about what the story actually means.
Okay.
As the name implies, St. Patrick's Day honors St. Patrick, a 5th century Christian missionary credited with spreading Christianity throughout Ireland. According to legend, after fasting for 40 days and nights, Patrick drove the snakes from Ireland and cast them into the sea. Now, this is a dramatic story, but it almost certainly never happened.
Why? Why is religion, Christianity, filled with this ridiculousness? I'm hoping he's going to explain. I'll shut up so we can continue, but I just don't understand why there are so many of these absurd fairy tales. I don't get it.
Post-glacial Ireland was cut off from mainland Europe and simply did not have the native snake populations, so there were no snakes to drive away in the first place. Most historians believe that the snakes are symbolic. In Christian storytelling, snakes often represent pagan religions or spiritual oppression, echoing serpent imagery found in the Bible and in Genesis. The legend likely developed as a metaphor for the gradual spread of Christianity in Ireland and the decline of older religious traditions. But even that story is simplified. The conversion of Ireland wasn't a single dramatic event. It was a slow cultural transformation that unfolded over centuries, where older traditions and Christian practices often blended together. Interestingly, the holiday itself began as a Christian feast day honoring Patrick, but over time it became a broader celebration of Irish identity and culture around the world, which is sometimes oversimplified at best and culturally insensitive at worst. So when you hear the story about St. Patrick driving out the snakes, it has nothing to do with reptiles. It is a legend about religious change, cultural memory, and the stories societies tell about their past. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, I suppose it's pretty obvious that, the guy Patrick did not just drive out literal snakes. However, how is it that people are so obsessed with religion and it's the one thing they blindly follow, faith? When you question it, some people can have a conversation about it, tell you, I don't know. This is where the faith comes in. And they don't get offended. Other people will get very offended. But then you also have it's okay at the same time that religion, it's like St. Patty's Day is now a drunk fest. I mean, it's more associated with people going out just getting absolutely hammered. The large majority, the wearing green, the getting pinched, the leprechaun. How did you get here when this was about Christianity from the beginning? And I think the answer to that is corporate America, which for me makes me kind of feel was that a plan all along with Christianity? To put in and replace older traditions, pagan beliefs and practices. And now you've put something in that looking forward, you knew you could commercialize. That sounds extreme, but is it? Let me know.
The room doesn't want you to be disciplined. The room wants you to be relatable, because relatable means that you overeat too. You drink alcohol too. You skip the gym too. And you struggle too. Because if everyone is slightly off, then no one actually feels exposed. But the second that you stop participating, you no longer become relatable. You become a mirror. And mirrors make people uncomfortable. That's why comments come out like, live a little bit. It's not that serious. One won't hurt. You're too strict. Are you starting to notice a pattern here? They never pressure you to save money. They never pressure you to train harder in the gym, to go to bed earlier. They only pressure you towards weakness. That should tell you something. Social pressure almost always pulls you downward, not upward. And the uncomfortable realization is this. If you always need the room's approval, you'll always operate at the room's level. So here's the power shift. Stop trying to be relatable. Start being aligned. Aligned with your standards. Aligned with your goals. Aligned with who you say that you are. This room will adjust or it won't. But either way, you don't shrink your future to stay comfortable in the present.
Love it. Absolutely love it. If you don't agree with the room, don't worry about it. 9 times out of 10, the room is wrong anyway. Start doing for you. Start thinking for you. It's okay if you have a different opinion. It's totally fine. You might get some pushback. You might get a little bit of ridicule in the short and midterm. Does it matter? It really doesn't.
Scientists and researchers exploring consciousness suggest that dreams may not be random mental noise, but experiences taking place in a parallel layer of reality. The idea comes from theories around quantum consciousness and the multiverse, which propose that awareness may temporarily shift states while the body sleeps. During dreams, the brain reduces sensory input from the physical world while dramatically increasing internal perception, making the experience feel vivid, structured, and emotionally real. Some physicists and neuroscientists point to how the brain creates fully immersive environments with consistent rules, characters, and timelines in dreams. These worlds can feel just as stable as waking life, which raises the question of whether consciousness is tuning into an already existing reality rather than inventing one from scratch.
In the process of this show, when we first started, there was people who would want to talk to me about dreams. And I'll be honest with you, I just had no interest in talking to people about their dreams. I'm like, why do I talk about your dreams? Dreams aren't reality, you know? I wasn't looking at it through a biblical lens at all. I started learning more and more about how real the dream realm is. And then I started realizing that I have somebody in my house, my wife, who has been for years describing her dreams to me. And all of a sudden, like, hold on a second. I think there might be something to this. The reality is that the dream realm, this is according to the confessionals, the witnesses, that perspective, not scientific. People have been describing these dreams, and sometimes there's a bleed over to from the dream realm to this reality, which that is what crossed me over to, okay, dreams aren't just, figments of your imagination.
What do you think about the dreams? You think there's more to dreams than what we're being told, and that it's maybe our spirit or souls in another reality or parallel dimension, universe, whatever, while we're sleeping? Let me know what you think.
So I work overnights at a gym, and the other day I was doing the bathroom check that I have to do every hour, where I go in, wipe the counters, mop up the floor, clean up the bathroom, basically. And in our gym, our locker room and bathroom is combined. And when you walk in, you have 3 stalls. There's 2 skinny stalls and then 1 ADA stall as the last one, and then 3 urinals on the left. That doesn't matter. A couple weeks ago, I was doing my bathroom check at like 3 in the morning or something, and nobody in the bathroom. And I'm finishing up, and the last thing I do when I'm doing a bathroom check is check the quantities of things like the soap and the toilet paper and the toilet paper covers, make sure nothing needs replaced. So I go through, check the soaps, all full, good to go. First bathroom stall, toilet paper's good, toilet paper covers, good. Second bathroom stall, toilet paper's good, toilet paper covers, good. Third bathroom stall, toilet paper's good, toilet paper covers, completely empty. Box is sitting in the little holder thing. Pull the box out, go throw it in the trash, go to my little closet that's in the bathroom to get another set of toilet paper holders and to replace it. But lo and behold, we are out because the person who worked before me didn't restock our storage closet. So I have to go to the big storage closet up in the front of the gym and get a whole new stack of toilet paper covers and go put it back into the bathroom storage closet. Do that. Go back to the bathroom storage closet, set them down, take the one that I'm going to replace the now should be empty one with, go back to the ADA stall. There's a full pack of toilet paper covers in it. What do you mean? First thing I did was maybe somebody grabbed them from one of the other stalls because they wanted to use the ADA stall. Nope, those 2 packs were still there as well in both of those stalls. So now we have 3 full packs that I don't know where the third one came from. And I can't stop thinking about it. I was so freaked out about it. I stood there for a good 30 seconds staring at this thing. There's no possible way that there's a full pack of toilet paper covers. When this whole last 5 minutes, my whole goal has been to get a new pack of toilet paper covers, and I had to go up to the front because I didn't have any toilet paper covers in the closet because nobody was stock toilet paper covers in the closet. So I had to go to the big closet, get the toilet paper covers, and bring it back to the closet, and bring a fucking new pack to the. But there's a brand new pack still in the. I checked the trash can. The empty one that I took out was in the trash can. My manager checked the cameras. Nobody else went into the closet. And if they had gone into the closet, there wasn't any toilet paper covers in there to begin with. Help. Does anybody have an explanation for this? Because everybody I tell us that it doesn't have anything, and I'm losing my mind.
Have you ever experienced something like this? And then, of course, you tell it to somebody or somebody's, a lot of people, and they've got like the most obvious, just, you know, bare minimum explanation. So what do you think happened with this guy? You know, we're doing this again, right? Dude, the jog at the end. I'm sorry. I'm doing this again. And y'all say y'all are tired of the AI slop. That's funny. That is ridiculous. That's so stupid. That is funny. What? Okay, I have a question. This is not the first time stuff like this has happened. It's probably not going to be the last, but how is it? And I'm asking seriously, how is this always a camera glitch? Is that for real a thing? Does somebody really actually have an answer for this? I refuse to believe this is always a camera glitch. 9 times out of 10, someone's got bulging alien freak eyes, and someone in the comments will be like, man, that's just a camera, man. It's a bad lens. It's a faulty. Dude, it doesn't matter. Ring doorbells, professional, cameras used by mass media outlets, doesn't matter. It's always a camera glitch. 9 times out of 10, at least. Do you believe that shit? Because I definitely do not. This is fucking weird. She looks absolutely out of her mind. No. My God. I don't know, man. Maybe she really is just a stage 5 clinger. I don't know. That's just weird. She doesn't look right. The bitch looks absolutely insane. And her eyes, I don't know if I'd say like reptilian. I don't know if I would use that, but I don't know. I guess I can't say for sure, but something's off with this woman. She's not seemingly normal, you know? Yeah, man. Oh man. I don't know. I just said I don't know about reptilian, but Jesus Christ, her eyes are about to pop out of her damn skull. She needs to go to an optometrist immediately, is what she needs. And down there on that Senate floor, I know the bitch has got money for a good one. You would think anyway. But on a serious note, there's something wrong with her, man. That ain't normal. I don't think it's normal. You let me know if that's normal to you, because I don't think that's normal. That's not normal to me.
Ruled in his favor almost every single time. This is disloyal.
Okay. Let me just say this. Do you recall, have you seen the video clip from Obama era administration and the alleged security secret service detail, whoever the hell it was, guy in a black suit? He's totally bald, shiny bald. And he's standing there, right? But like he clearly has not, like his face doesn't look like a regular, human face. So once again, I have to revert back to, this is like old YouTube. Okay. This is before YouTube was what it is now. So AI was not a thing. Great smartphones. Nobody had just a fucking Photoshop and all this bullshit at their fingertips. And of course, people thought it was fake. Obviously. It was another camera issue. It was photoshopped. It was a prank. It was something. But this happened. There was another reptilian looking dude. Same situation. So how is it we're seeing this again? Now, I will say this. Is this a compression issue? Like, if these videos get shared enough, do I have that fact straight that if the file's like compressed and little bits taken out here and there of the file and it's getting shared and downloaded, doesn't that start to affect the quality? So is that what we're witnessing here, or is this a little bit more to the story? Yeah. How? Yeah. How do all these faces look normal, but that guy right there? So if I have my facts correct about the whole files being shared, download, and compressed, if I got that right, that would not explain this, would it? I mean, I'm asking for real. Like, does that explain this guy right here who looks like he's made of Play-Doh? So this thought truly just came to me. What if the massive deficit, right, that we are in as a country, the national debt, the 38 trillion, 40 trillion, wherever the hell we're at, what if that is being added to and that money is coming into play because they, in order to keep this charade going, to hide Play-Doh face here and his friends, they have to reinvest into technology that allows the system feed, if you will, to cloak these sons of bitches. Does that make sense? And the system feed being like the news, TV, media, shit like that. Like, what if this is like some Hollywood style shit that they literally are spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year to clean the feed as it's presented to you live so you don't see Play-Doh face and friends? Or if it's filmed and is played back to you, they're still able to somehow have the tech to where it cleans on its own as you're filming. You won't be able to see this shit, but sometimes it slips through the cracks. And that's when you could be, using your Apple, Android, whatever, you're filming some shit and you're like, oh, fuck, there's a goddamn alien here, man. There's a ghost here. And every now and then these entities slip through the screening process that happens live. You follow me on that, right? It's a what if, man. That's a what if. This dude ain't normal. That's not normal. And I don't know, like at a glance, without rambling and dissecting for another hour, or just 10 minutes, like, why would everybody else look so normal, but then this guy in the back looks like this? If you have a good explanation, please drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. That being said, we're done. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed these clips. I did. Orphan trains, reptilians on the Senate floor, particularly those two things. Leave me some feedback, man. How do you feel about this? Real shit? Or are we just seeing what we want to believe and see? And for the orphan trains, are we just thinking the worst and is our conspiracy brains getting the most of us? I don't believe it's that part. I think there's some other things that have gone down and are probably still going down, and I'd like to try to get to the bottom of it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for sticking around. Like, subscribe. Please, please subscribe. If you have not subscribed yet and you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button so you can come back and see me and hang out. We're going to keep doing stuff just like this. Have a good night. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.